I mean, science has already proved that. You guess what? Y'all talk about the creation was in 6 days and all this. This thing is still creating. Mm-hmm. That's what science is saying. That's what science is. You know, when they say, look, this Bible story is a joke about 7 days and God made everything. This thing is still being made. The universe is expanding, and that's what let scientists know. Okay, if it expanded, it means it was small, and then it expanded. Now, if they take that to its ultimate, the universe was a black hole, and it came out of that black hole and expanded. It's never going to stop. The only thing that makes beings look forward to death or want to die is if you function on the level of an animal. See, an animal can't conceive of eternal life. A dog says, I want to live forever. So if a human being can't conceive of eternal life, can't fathom being here for always, then they're on the level of animals. That's the equivalent of any animal. You know, and animals are smart. The elephant is amazing.
They never forget.
Well, he's amazing the stuff that he does. But eternal life, he knows nothing about it. That is in the realm of human beings. And I'll give you the definition of a human being again. A human being is any creature who can conceive of eternal life. If you can conceive of eternal life, you are a human being. It's just that simple. Doesn't mean you're going to necessarily get eternal life, but if you can conceive of it, you did at least get to the level of being human.
Okay. So we were talking about Henrietta Lacks, the Immortal Cells. We know Henrietta Lacks was married to her first cousin, had babies by incest, and now it's $1 billion industry. Her cells are immortal. They're still growing and thriving in labs.
Right, and let's keep in mind too that most of the people that she helped was totally against incest. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like Dr. Pookrum.
Yeah. Most of the people that that's why I say it's just so amazing how they can get up on this radio and talk about a woman whose lifestyle they totally against.
All right. So we talked about the hermaphrodites and how hermaphrodites are created, which is sex from two people that are blood related or incest. Now you can provide proof from the Bible that biblical characters actually practice the incest as a custom and a tradition. Is that right, Mike?
Oh, yeah. Well, everybody pretty much knows. You used to have a hard time getting a Christian person to be honest about anything.
Even with themselves.
Yeah, about anything, man. The smallest thing.
Yeah.
They may tell you if the doorbell don't work, they may tell the truth about that. But that's it.
Garbage goes out on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's it. Anything that has to do with reality of this life and what's here, they'll be able to tell you the truth about it. Now, I'll tell you the truth about it. Abraham was the father of 3 religions. Judaism, which is the Jews, Christianity, which is the Christians, and Islam, which is the Muslims. All 3 of them, Abraham is the patriarch, the father of all 3 of these religions. And all 3 of these religions would tell you that Abraham was married to his sister, and that Abraham humped his sister for 100 years and couldn't get her pregnant, and it made no difference what he did. Until the wife, the sister was 100 years old. And then Abraham impregnated her with Isaac at 100. Mm-hmm. Now, that story is not Christian at all. Why would a Christian want to hold Abraham as dear? Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham, rock my soul. This is how they rolling with this thing. And he was married to his sister. And their God, if he was in touch with Abraham at all, he never said Abraham stopped. He's retarded. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to make
100 years he's doing it.
Yeah, he's wearing out. He said, man, I'll come down here to make you a patriarch of my religion, to take you to the higher planes of existence, and you can't stop humping your mother, your sister. What's wrong with you? This is what that God was supposed to say according to these Christians here. Yet that's not recorded nowhere in the Bible. How come? And when you become adult and you want to know answers to these kind of questions, you don't want to be bullshitting.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yeah, you don't want to have your intelligence insulted.
Yeah, well, that used to be cool. You used to could do that, but you can't do it no more. Well, if it was cool then, what's wrong with it now? You know, that's what the Christians would say. Well, it was cool then, guys, it was cool then. Well, if you got a God that changes with the wind, then he have no power. Mm-hmm. See, nature is consistent throughout. The same rules that apply to you apply to me. When they just say, you know, incest or die, they weren't making no exceptions with nobody. No, no, sir. Man, you done had your ride on the roller coaster. You can go ahead and leave. So, religion has positioned itself in opposition to nature. Everything that was natural, everything that you were supposed to do, they made a rule against it. Until nowadays, you can't even call them bad people. Nature don't deal with bad or good. They just deceive. The incest within itself establishes freedom. If somebody's telling you who to have sex with, then he's your master. Absolutely. He's your master. And so that's how the slave master trained the Africans over here in this country not to do it. He took them right off of that west coast of Africa where they was doing it and told them don't do that. And then when he became their master, they listened to their master. See? So, and then nature looks at that. They said, we'll send you right where we send you a master. you and them can go. And by the way, just so everybody knows, death is inside the sun. That's what death is. And we'll get to the sun later on in this program. Last hour, we'll get to the sun. And so this is what I say when I say Dr. Pookrum says she want to be here 200 years, and then that's enough. Well, where you going? Ain't nothing over inside of death but the sun. So that lets you know the one who got the call and the one who didn't. Because if you got the call, you knew what death was. And if you didn't get the call, you just sitting out there fronting, then you're still under the impression that you're going to you die and it's fade off, and none of this is true because of the laws of thermodynamics. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. If energy cannot be destroyed, where is your energy? Where does it go at the time of death? This is the question. And until that question was answered, we really had no business stepping off into death because you didn't know what you was going into, man.
And you're going to answer that question when we go over the sun.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we got it. So right now we just get back to Abraham. Abraham, who had the baby with his sister, Sarah, which they started out as Abram and Sarah. But somehow, when the story switched up, they became Abraham and Sarah. That's why I tell you, and I told you in the Book of Life, that the Bible is written two different stories. One story leads to eternal life. The other story leads to death. Now, since incest is in the Bible, it's got to either lead to eternal life or death. Now, all the people who don't do the incest are dying. We know that. We see that every day. And the only person who we can say had immortal cells, Henrietta Lacks, also did the incest. Mm-hmm. See? So you see how nature left that example?
Oh yeah, I find that amazing. The clues when you know what you're dealing with, you look back.
Right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nature left that right for anybody with eyes to see. Now you got Abraham and Sarah made Isaac, and then Isaac and Rebekah made Jacob. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Jacob and Esau and all of them. But all of these relationships in the Bible are with blood kin. They even go as far as to say, don't get none of these girls out here. Go back to your father's house and get your blood kin.
All right, so let's take it step by step. All right, so Abraham and Sarah had Isaac. They were related. Then Isaac and Rebekah married, and they were cousins.
Right. See, and that was the interesting thing. Is Isaac and Rebecca was already cousins.
Mm-hmm.
They was already cousins. They had already come from the same line of Abraham, and Abraham's brother. And then you had Jacob come from Isaac and Rebecca. But Jacob and Esau. Esau was the oldest when Jacob was supposed to show his birthright or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And but all of them, and even including Esau, he went and married his cousin on Ishmael's side because Abraham was the father of Ishmael. And so Esau went to that side of the family and married a cousin over with Ishmael as opposed to Isaac. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but they all did the incest. Even if you look at the story of Adam and Eve, the way that the Christians tell it, God made a man,
yeah,
and then took the rib out the man and made a woman out of his rib, and he said, "Flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone." They were the same.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people mention that too, but it doesn't click in there.
They were the same. Flesh of my flesh. Oh, they were more the same than two brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though two brothers and sisters come from the same parents, they have different. Mother got a set of genes, father got a set of genes.
Yeah.
Adam didn't have that advantage in this story.
Mm-hmm.
He produced right from himself. His rib was taken from him, and the woman was made out of that. That was supposed to be his sister. Genetic.
Yes, because it's not two people, it's just everything out of one person.
Just after one person. See? So then them two populated. Them two got together. So God told them. So we're looking at incest from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
If you read the story, he's anywhere close to being factual. But what I'm telling you, what I told you in the book of life, Adam was really a female. They done switched the whole thing over. Adam was really a female. And that makes more sense than the male story. God made a man. For what?
All right, back to the hermaphrodites. We got Isaac and Rebecca were married, they're cousins. Jacob and Rachel were cousins. Laban is Rebecca's brother. Laban is also Jacob's uncle and Rachel's father.
Okay. See, so it's all mixed up in here. And that's what I'm saying there. The relationship that we have today, like going out to the bar, meeting somebody, or somebody, my boss, I got a girl I want you to meet, you go meet her over there, blase, blase. That ain't how it was done. See, they knew the people they was hooking up with because they was blood related. And there was a reason for that. See, because they didn't want to get all of these bad genes inside of their bloodline. See, because with all of these genes and stuff comes disease. You don't know what you're fixing and all of that here, right?
Yeah.
So the entire subject of incest is written out in the Bible. We can go to the story of Lot, but I'm just saying all of these incest examples were placed in the Bible for a reason. Now, all the Christians know about these incest relationships too.
Mm-hmm.
All of them know about it. They choose to what? Ignore.
Oh, yeah.
You choose. So that's why I say that is a choice. As I got on the first page of the book of life, that is a free will choice. You chose to ignore the evidence that was right in front of you. See? But I had a problem with that when I was a kid. Holy God, sister? Y'all acting like this ain't even in this book.
Well, the excuse they gave us was, well, there weren't a lot of people.
Okay.
But that doesn't take away from the fact it is what it is.
Yeah, but that's not even really a valid excuse.
Well, I didn't really buy it. But that's what they tell you.
We can get verses where they tell their sons, look, don't marry none of these girls. Go out to your father's house, get your blood kids, and take them. See? So the excuse that they want enough people on the planet is hogwash.
Mm-hmm.
See? Like I told you, the Bible is written where there's two stories here. And somebody had to come along and separate the two stories, which he would get the two paths in life. One would lead to the grave, and the other would lead to eternal life. And incest happens to be on the side of them that leads to eternal life. You know.